Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Crystal Maiden.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Clockwork.
Radiant team pick.
Centaur War Runner.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Seconds remaining.
I've just gotten a new mic, so I'm not too sure how the settings are working for this.
Remaining.
If I was talking during mute for all of that, I do apologize. For those of you who are just chipping in right now due to that mistake, I'm 49, the community shoutcaster for the OUSA Dota League Season 1. I was using my mate's Blue Yeti recording mic, borrowed off him for the last few weeks. I've just gotten my own in the mail. I thought I set it up properly, but I think I might have accidentally muted myself. And so in that case, that would be very embarrassing. I'm just going to quickly double check. Hang on.
Radiant team ban.
And so just going to quickly go over the picks and bans in that case. First and second ban from Recursion was the Ember Spirit and the Invoker. Very standard bans due to their high strength and high mobility. First and second bans coming up from Bambi Rising as a Slark and the Puck. Puck was a bit unusual. He's usually banned during the third or fourth ban, never as a first or second, unless if they have an exceptionally skilled Puck player, in which case it's a respect ban. Just because you ban Puck against heroes, against the draft that has a really strong synergy with the Puck. Otherwise, he's not that essential as a ban. We've got that third ban, Nature's Prophet. Pretty standard ban once again. Very strong offlaner, provides a lot of annoyance with that Rat Dodo, simply because he can teleport anywhere in the map, summon trees and push down your towers, take your racks. Constantly force you to rotate your heroes. Third and fourth ban coming up from Bambi Rising is that Bane Elemental.
10 seconds remaining.
As well as the Nikes. I'm just going to double check once again to make sure I haven't muted myself. So we've got the Centaur Warrunner picked up as the second pickup for Bambi Rising. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. I actually still might be muted. Hang on.
10 seconds remaining. Radiant team 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Okay, fantastic. So it turned out I actually am a complete idiot, and I muted myself.
Dire team ban.
I'm just gonna blame. Okay, fantastic. So I'm just gonna sign that up for me being an absolute idiot. But nonetheless, it's good to know that you can't hear me now. I do apologize. First cast on a new mic that I've just picked up. Okay, fantastic. So we've got the Luna as a third pickup. For Team Recursion, fantastic aggressive tri-lane hero. The reason why she's so popular is just because she provides so much power in that tri-lane situation. You have that 700 range Lucent Beam, which does an absolute crap ton. The fact that it has a very low cooldown means you can use it twice. First to initiate the gank when your support heroes go in. If they happen to survive when you're running them down with Luna's high mobility, you can throw out the second Lucent Beam and finish them off. Means not only that, you also have a Luna Blessing, which provides plus 14 attack damage to each of your support heroes as well as yourself, and giving them max night vision of 1800. This is a very subtle but significant buff for the support heroes. Not only are they hitting harder, they also have more night vision, so they're aware of ganks rotating to come in. Luna also has extremely strong death ball capability. The instant she picks up that BKB, with her Eclipse up, you can't fight her at all. It's like that Juggernaut with the Omni Slash. If you do choose to fight her, if she throws out that BKB and the Eclipse, you will go down. There's no way you can burst her down with physical DPS. Even if you do manage to lock her down with something like Beastmaster Raw, if she gets off the Eclipse, someone somewhere will be going down. We've got the Rubik picked up, so Visage and Centaur Warrunner most likely will be in the offlane. So Visage and Rubik. Rubik is a very strong defensive tri-lane support hero. The reason for that is that Telekinetic Lift can be used to throw aggressive heroes back to stun their allies, as well as the fact that once you pick up level 6, you have that spell steal. Rubik works pretty well in this case because Visage provides all the offensive power you need in that tri-lane, and so you do have Rubik to provide that defensive capability with that guaranteed stun of the Telekinetic Lift.
Reserve time.
Just gonna let Gats know everything's good. Okay, and so Weaver's also been picked up, so most likely will be an aggressive tri-lane with the Visage, the Rubik, and the Weaver. Great synergy coming up from them. Visage to set up the Grave Chill, Rubik to pick them up and throw them back, Weaver to provide that physical DPS with the Sakuchi as well as the Gemini attack. Sakuchi provides a little bit of extra magic damage, but most importantly provides some mobility as it gives Weaver essentially a free haste run as well as unit walking. Lets him move through the enemy hero, get behind them, get a few hits off, Gemini attack effectively, doubles the first few hits he throws out. Makes it very dangerous. We've got a Mirana pickup, so most likely we'll be seeing something like the Clockwork mid, Mirana in the off lane, with Luna in the aggressive tri-lane with Crystal Maiden, and Recursion can then choose to pick up a secondary support hero. Mirana can also function as a support roaming kind of role. With that Crystal Maiden, you have the Crystal Nova as well as the Frostbite to set up her era. And so it'll be interesting to see what Recursion choose to do. So this opens up their draft, as if they decide not to pick up a secondary support hero, they could always have Mirana function as a support hero in that case and pick up a mid instead. Clockwork rotate over to the off lane. Recursion actually dipping into a lot of their reserve time. They've got 2 seconds left. 4th and 5th ban for them is the Outworld Destroyer as well as the Storm Spirit. Outworld Destroyer, pretty self-explanatory ban. Really pigeonholes your draft towards picking the heroes that could break even or counteract the Outworld Destroyer. Otherwise, if you do decide that you're too far into the draft and you have to deal with them, another way to deal with the Outworld Destroyer is to constantly gank him. So that means really aggressive placement plays from coming out from your support players. However, if you're not too comfortable playing that kind of aggressive roaming kind of style, it's a lot safer and a lot easier simply to ban him out. 4th and 5th ban coming up from Bambi Rising, we have the Lifestealer, which is a bit surprising considering they did pick up that Luna, and it looks like we've got a Pudge pickup, so Pudge will be going mid, Clockwork in the offlane. It looks like we've got a roaming support Mirana with that Crystal Maiden. Good combination coming up from those two, as Crystal Maiden can always rotate, use that Crystal Nova to set up Mirana's arrow, use the Frostbite to guarantee it, and with Pudge, the mana regeneration coming out from Arcane really helps him out, as Pudge is limited only by his mana pool in the early stages of the game. That's the reason why Bottle's such a great pickup on him, and gives him that burst regeneration of mana to get that second hook off, to ensure that he get that hook into this member combination. And we've got Queen of Pain coming up from Bambi Rising, so 5-200 playing that Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain does beat Pudge in the 1v1 matchup. Queen of Pain actually beats almost every melee mid in the game, just because of the sheer amount of harassment coming out from that Shadow Strike. Not only that, if Pudge does hook the Queen of Pain, unless he's level 6 and can immediately dismember her, she can blink on out, so she should be perfectly fine. So we've got Mujrim playing that Centaur War Runner over in the offlane. Curry playing the Rubik. He plays an absolutely phenomenal Rubik in their game series against, I believe it was TYK. He was able to steal Lich's Chain Frost, return it to him every single fight. Really helped turn around team fights. Ghoulie over in the carry as that Weaver, and Bambi the Retarded Unicorn over in the Visage. Just going to introduce the players over on the Dire side. Oh crap. Okay, can you hear me? Alrighty, so we've got early smoke picked up by the Mirana, means they are looking to rotate. She's also starting with sentries. Very good pickup, as usually over in the safe lane or in the off lane, they like to place what Yoshi calls a safety ward, which is a defensive ward placed usually around either here or over there to give a bit of vision. We see it placed right now, it's a safety ward. So as a tri-lane support hero, if you do start with sentries, you could deny that vision coming out, really shut down the vision for the enemy offlaner or the enemy tri-laner, and make it a lot easier. We've actually got a 5-man smoke rotation coming in, so it looks like they're all going to pile dive the Queen of Pain, which is a bit funny considering the fact that Rubik and Bambi the Retarded Unicorn are hiding, waiting to jump on Pudge when he goes mid, so this could be a bit awkward. Crystal Man's running through. We got a bit of spectator chat happening, as Ghoulie decides to ride a bit over on the map. If any of the, oh god, Bambi the Retarded Unicorn moves out. It's now 3-on-2. Arrow immediately lands. He's taking a lot of damage. It's frostbitten. Telekinetic lift throws up Crash, and Crash gets a last hit on Bambi, bringing him down. Okay, fantastic. So immediately, a Recursion starting with a 1-0 early game advantage. So for those of you just listening, or rather for those of you who completely missed the opening 2-3 minutes of my cast just because I was an idiot and accidentally muted myself, this is game 1 of Bambi Rising up against Team Recursion. After this is game 2, it's a best of 2 series, and right after this series we actually have Bambi Rising facing off against the boys from the 4 Horsemen of the Ruckus, so stay tuned. We've got 4 hours of Dota casting on tonight. Over in the tri-lane we've got Centaur War Runner getting a decent amount of golden experience. It's interesting that the supports haven't tried to bully him out. One of the reasons why Centaur is so difficult is the fact that he has such great strength gain, he's very tanky, hard to bring down. And all he really has to do is leech EXP. He doesn't even need all too much farm. If he could just pick up Tranquil Boots, the instant your support heroes rotate, he can run up to your carry, start spamming out Double Edge, driving them back, always putting them on the verge of death. We see that Shadow Strike as well as Scream flying out on Arab King, copy a lot of harass from that Queen of Pain. This is the reason why she's such a pain in the ass to deal with. That bondage related harass is just too much to bear for your melee hero, as you not only have to eat the poison dot as well as the snare, you have to eat all the right clicks coming out from Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain hits very hard and has an excellent attack point. We've got a Looks like Kish the Killer is TPing back in the lane, so he was driven out earlier. Been interesting. He's chose to start with Rocket Flare at level 1. I really do not like this at all, as it gives you no defensive capability. You always want to start with the level 1 cogs, especially with the fact that it's now a 5-second duration. Cogs are extremely strong, and in the off chance that you happen to be in a 1v1 situation, you can use your cogs if you're up against a melee hero to push them back, drain that mana. Otherwise, it's good to keep around as a defensive ability, as you can use to control your creep equilibrium by trapping the creeps in your creeps in the cog. Ideally, you want to trap all the melee creeps so the range creep goes up front. That way, the range creep goes down immediately. That is the majority of damage coming out from the creeps. So that means the equilibrium will always push towards your tower, giving you a lot of free EXP. Luna leading the way, 8 for 2, followed by the Queen of Pain with 5 denies. Denies are so much more important in the middle lane when you're in a 1v1 situation, as if you're able to hit a level before the enemy player can give you a significant advantage, especially if it's that critical level 6. For instance, if you're facing off in a 1v1 situation mid as a Magnus, if he hits level 6 before you, you are dead. If he has mana to RP you as well as that shockwave, gives you so much power. One of the reasons why Magnus used to be such a strong hero in the middle lane is the fact that the instant he hits 6, if you misplay even by a small amount, you'll go down. That gets the ball rolling for him. J-Crash actually going down to solo Centaur Warrunner. Arrow misses. That's that stomp and the double edge combination coming out. Centaur Warrunner is so dangerous to be up against. Completely on your own. You need your supports to always be there. This is the reason why he's been picked up so much, as teams are starting to pick up on the fact that he does a hell of a lot of burst damage. He's hard to bully out of lane. He is just flat out dangerous, and that's what you want to be as an offlane hero. You constantly want to be annoyance. Bit of lag happening. I do apologize. Even though it's fiber optic internet, I guess well, at peak times you must have a bit of lag. He's picked up Tranquil Boots, and now he has all the sustainability he needs. The instant the supports rotate away, he gets a free chance to throw out a double edge on Luna. He can do that. Great way to harass him. Arrow flies out, hits him, catches him in the face. It's about a 2.5 second arrow. J-Crash is following up, doing some right clicks. Actually could have gone for a kill. Don't know why you backed away so much there. Only had that 1 point up in Lucent Beam, and he just barely survives. Never mind, that last hit might bring him down. No, Stout Shield blocks the damage that would have killed him. Great self coming out from Centaur Warrunner, recognizing that Luna didn't have enough points in the Lucent Beam to kill him off. She only has the 1 point, choosing to go 2 points up in the Luna Blessing to help her CS. It's an understandable skill build, but in this case, the fact that you have an aggressive tri-lane with the Crystal Maiden as well as the Miranda helps set up kills. You want to get that second point up in Lucent Beam as soon as possible. 5-200, having a fantastic start up against that Pudge. Pudge is only a 6 for 1. Looks like some rotations coming in with Bambi the Retarded Unicorn. He's out for revenge. He gave up first blood. He wants to get a kill. You see Pudge dropping a few of his stat items before he picks up that salve. That's just to increase the efficiency of the regeneration he receives. Pro players do this a lot. You see them always drop their arcane boots before they use their bottle, as well as their treads, or tread toggling. As the lower strength he has, the lower his base HP pool is, and therefore the more percentage of his HP he regenerates when he uses something like that self. Mirana hanging around the side. She wants to throw out an arrow. A bit interesting that Centaur Warrunner didn't have a safety ward, as that's definitely the only thing you really need to survive in that lane. Just to be able to spot out those rotations. We see Ghoulie starting with the Ring of Health. We have Stampede going down. And Curry is caught far out of position, but Arab King is going to go down. Curry gets that last kill with the Fade Bolt. Never mind, Visage got it. Visage throws out that Grave Chill. Good jukes coming up from Curry. Juking around the trees. Make sure he doesn't eat that Lucent Beam. He's still alive. How the hell is he alive? It's the Starstorm. Goes down finally to hit from Mirana, but she's overextended. 5-200, taking a lot of damage. He doesn't have enough mana for Blink. He might go down to right clicks. Never mind, they're too slow to catch up with him. Bambi, he backs away. He didn't have enough mana for that Soul Assumption. So Bambi rising, able to get a kill. Great plays coming out from them. Invisibility Rune pinged out by the Dire side. Pudge is aware of this. He wants to nab it. Rubik did go down in the end, but Rubik for a Pudge. Great trade for the Radiant side, especially as that delays Pudge's level 6. Pudge still isn't level 6. Centaur Warrunner in the off lane is able to out-level him just off the back. That he was able to get that solo kill on the Luna. He's level 7 now, so the instant supports rotate away, Luna's going to eat a lot of damage to the face. In fact, she might actually die if Stampede is up. Stampede, get your Hoof Stomp, get your Double Edge, throw in 1, maybe 2 right clicks, and Luna goes down immediately. One of the huge drawbacks of Luna is she's a very fast hero, but very squishy. She does have the fastest base movement speed in the game. I think Chaos Knight might beat her. But with 335, it is tough to catch and to bring down. Arab King hanging around with the invisibility rune. He wants to get a kill over on Ghoulie, but without that dismember, Ghoulie should be fine, especially considering he has time lapse. So they have to time this perfectly to bring them down. Time lapse is an instant cast point, so that means battery assault isn't able to interrupt. He's going in on Kish right now. Kish to kill it, corners on Cogs. Denies the Cogs. Ghoulie doesn't have mana. Actually, he might go down. Doesn't have enough for Sakuchi. Sakuchi's on cooldown, and he goes down. Great plays coming out from the Clockwork. Relying on that mana burn coming out from the Cogs. 80 mana as well as HP burned out. Centaur Warrunner gets a kill over in Luna. The instant supports rotate away. He runs in, gets that kill. He popped that Stampede for that. So that's that combination I was talking about. Stampede into Hoof Stomp. It's a double edge. Arrow flies out, but it should miss. And with that Tranquil Bit regeneration, he has all the sustainability he needs. We see he's chosen to completely forgo return. He wants to max out his killing spells. He wants to get that burst damage off. Hoof Stomp doesn't really scale all too well, but when you're in an off lane, you really want to max out the amount of damage that's coming out. Every point only increases damage by 50 and stun duration by 0.25. So it's definitely something that you want to max out in an offlane situation. It increases the amount of magical burst damage in your combo with the Hoof Stomp as well as the double edge by 150, as well as giving you about 1 extra auto attack. Can usually mean a difference between a kill and a death. Arab King throws out the hook, actually gets a hook into a dismember combination and kills the Queen of Pain. Bit of a lag spike there, but nonetheless, Arab King pulling through, showing off his skills over in the Pudge. Just going to do a quick golden EXP check in terms of EXP. 3,000 EXP lead in favor of the Radiant side. Arrow flies up and misses. 1,500 gold lead. That's purely off efficiency. And Rubik gets a kill over in the Clockwork. He's able to use that telekinetic lift to throw him out of the Cogs, expose him for the rest of his team, and finish it off most likely with that Fade Bolt. Yeah, he killed him with that Fade Bolt. That's that combination coming out from Rubik. Luna throws out the Lucent Beam, does a bit of harass, but Queen of Pain TP's in, is spotted out. So Luna's going to back out now. She knows she's not safe. Throws out the arrow. Mirana misses, but gives a bit of vision. He's aware that the Queen of Pain is around. Bambi hanging around that Visage. He wants to get kills. He wants to hit that level 6. We see he's picked up that point in the Gravekeeper's Cloak, just to give him that bit of survivability. The main reason why usually players pick up a point of that at level 4 is the magic resistance it gives them, as Visage has base magic resistance of only 15% compared to 25% that every other hero has, as well as the fact that he starts with 0 armor, so that actually is his only form of armor. Visage has also picked up a Sage's Mask. Looks like he's building towards that early Medallion of Courage. Great pickup for Visage, as with Great Shield, he actually outputs a surprising amount of physical DPS, so having that negative armor does help him out a lot. We see that defensive ward placed out by the Dire. I think it's been pinged out, so they're aware. They know that the rotations have been spotted. So that's 100 gold going for the supports over on the Radiant side. They're more than happy to get that. We see Weaver is leading the way at 40 for 10. Slightly followed by the Luna, who picked up a poor man's shield. Really poor pickup on the Luna, as she already has a high movement speed. She's only blocking 10 damage, so 550 gold. For 6 agility and 10 damage block really isn't worth it. You'd be better off building towards that Ring of Aquila. The armor that provides you is more effective and scales better into the late game. Also means that if you're left on your own, Stampede throwing out, going in on the Arab King, TP cancelled. He's caught completely out of position, throws up the hook over on Bambi, is immediately interrupted by the Hoof Stomp and goes down to the Solar Assumption as well as the double edge. Bambi getting a bit of payback. Was surprising that the TP was cancelled. If Clockwork went in, he could have thrown out the Cogs, isolated the fight, maybe given Pudge enough time to back away, or at least to get a return kill over on Bambi. Nonetheless, it's a tower as well as a kill going in favor of Bambi's Rising. Ghoulie getting some farm over in the bottom lane. See that he's picked up Treads, recognizing and respecting the burst power coming out from the Dire side. Usually, Weaver doesn't want to build Treads, doesn't want to build Boots at all until you finish your Lincoln, just because of the mobility coming out from the Sakuchi. But when you're playing from behind, or when you're worried about burst combinations coming out from the enemy team, you pick up Treads then, just to give you that extra bit of survivability. The attack speed is nice, but the movement speed is more or less irrelevant with that Sakuchi, so would like to see him pick up a magic wand, as all of Weaver's spells do cost very little mana. Sakuchi is the most important one, having 1 or 2 extra charges. Hook flies out, hits Bambi, and he goes down. Frostbite's thrown out. Hook shot actually misses. Pudge is thrown back. Hook is stolen by Curry and thrown back over. Sonic Wave flies out, hits 2. Queen of Pain blinks out. Centaur Warrunner actually goes down to the Cog and Battery Assault combination. Queen of Pain goes in, Hook flies out once again from Curry. Gets a kill on the Mirana. Great plays coming up from Curry. Really is very comfortable over on that Rubik. And that's a 3-for-1 exchange. As well as the fact that Rubik still has Hook. I'm actually just going to close the door. Give me just 1 second. Flatmate's playing a bit of noise.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Cut off.
Alrighty, and I'm back. So we see Bambi leading the way at 9 for 6. They already have 2 towers. Mid was denied by the Pudge, however, getting that bottom lane tower, as well as the fact that every single tower they get is usually punctuated by a few kills, gives them a significant advantage. We see Weaver now getting a lot of farm. Would like to see him pick up that Perseverance, just give him that mana regeneration, or most likely, from the fact that he's holding his gold, will be building towards that ultimate orb, just give him a few more stats. Mirana pinging out. And Centaur Warrior already has picked up a Blink Dagger 12 minutes into the game. Not the fastest blink in the world, but for an offlane Centaur, that's what you'll take what you could get. He's got both his Hoof Stomp as well as his Double Edge maxed out, so there's a lot of magical burst damage coming out from him. Stampede is off cooldown, so that gives him a lot of solo ganking power. That means that if his teammates call out a position, or when they want to go in, all he has to do is press R, provide that support. Moonlight Shadow coming up from the Mirana, and this is one of the reasons why she's picked up so frequently in the competitive scene, is it gives her so much utility in the team. She doesn't even have to be there. It's essentially a free global smoke. Mujarim actually runs back into that arrow. It's hooked. Gets hook-shotted as well. Overcommitment coming out from Recursion. The hook shot was not needed. Hook into Dismember was more than enough, but I guess he wanted a bit of revenge. Surprised Luna didn't blow Eclipse with that one as well. But nonetheless, with that hook shot down, Recursion is currently a bit on the back foot. It still is a kill in favor of them, but you really want to have that hook shot off just to threaten the supports, as it means the supports can't move around on their own without fear of being solo ganked. And you really do want to shut down that Weaver. Try to get that hook shot and the cog combination. Clockwork is a great counter to the Weaver. Just because you can control him with those cogs means that time lapse isn't effective. Bambi's at 6, so we see those birds hanging around. He wants to go in for those bird drops. Scouting arrow flies out just in case if anyone's coming up from the river. Spots out the regeneration rune. Never mind. Ends right before it sees it. And we see the heroes from Bambi Rising rotating over. 5200 is invisible on the Queen of Pain. He just breaks it. Never mind. Decides an engagement isn't happening. Choosing to max out that blink as a second ability. Great skill ball justification coming up from him, as he needs that mobility in those fights. If he could get that extra blink scream off, can help chase down stragglers. Birds actually goes down. Bambi, what happened to your SC2 micro? Feeds 2 birds. And we see that sentry ward placed there. Perhaps hoping that there might have been a safety ward placed there by the Radiant side. Over in the bottom lane, however, Ghoulie is getting a lot of free farm. We see he's picked up his ultimate orb. So he's about halfway over to his Lincoln Sphere now. Great pickup for him. Really does negate a lot of damage coming out from Recursion. It means that if Pudge hooks him on his own, he can't dismember him, as Dismember will be blocked by Lincoln Sphere. It means Crystal Maiden cannot do anything against the Weaver. Frostbite is completely negated by the Lincoln Sphere. It means that if Weaver sees the Crystal Maiden on her own, she will go down. There's nothing she could do to stop him. She could even drop a freezing field to drive him back, but he has that time lapse. Phase Book is picked up by Pudge, giving him a bit more mobility. However, Luna can break it with the Lucent Beam, but I'm pretty sure that, but with Weaver's mobility, it is difficult to be able to lock him down unless you have vision. Looks like the Tier 1 tower will be going down. Pudge hanging around, throws the hook over on Curry. Stampede is dropped. Mujarim runs in, gets hit by the Frost Nova, as well as the Frostbite. Pudge is denied. Eclipse flies out. Most of it hit creeps, unfortunately. But Mujarim's caught way out of position. Looks like he'll be going down. Is finished off with that Lucent Beam. 2 for 1, and that one was a deny. Great plays coming up from Recursion, so even the score. Mirana picking up the Arcane Boot, so we know she really is playing that support role. Mirana has a very flexible item build. You really can build whatever the team needs. Yesterday, I believe it was Caesar Cheese who actually picked up the Yule Scepter over on the offlane Mirana, just as another way for him to interrupt channeling abilities, especially from that Enigma, as well as to help set up spells. I think, oh no, never mind, take it back. It was Spooky Scary Skeleton who played that Mirana, and he picked up the Yules as a way for him to set up his own arrows, as well as another way to interrupt the Enigma Black Hole, in case if he'd already thrown out arrow. Interesting pickup for the Mirana. I mean, UGTFO from Team Horseman of the Ruckus picked up Orchid of Malevolence in his game as an offlane Mirana, just because it gave them the extra silence they needed to counteract some of their heroes, as well as the fact that it provides a lot of everything Mirana needs. It gives that mana regeneration so you can spam out your spells, as well as the 20% damage amplification coming out from the Orchid can actually help increase your ganking power. Arab King, smoke breaks, Curry spotted out again, hook into Rot, instantly lifted back and thrown back. Centaur Woman goes and gets the kill with a double edge. Cogs actually traps in Crystal Maiden, and she's gonna go down with the Soul Assumption. Killer is caught way out of position with that Grave Chill, with that Stampede. He's going to go down. He's caught out in the zone by 3. Battery assault has been mitigated mostly. Sonic Wave catches up to Mirana. Great turnaround coming out from Bambi Rising. Sonic Wave is wasted to get that 1 kill, but they're more than happy to take that. That's a 4 for 1. Curry's more than happy to sacrifice his life for the greater good of his team. Or maybe he isn't, but I'm sure his teammates are telling him, get over yourself. You're a support player. It's what you do best. Visage actually chose to go for the Ring of Basilius, not going for that Medallion of Courage. Very interesting, as the Basilius is usually picked up. I mean, Weave already has the Ring of Achilles, so they don't really need the armor aura that comes up for him. Unless he's split pushing on his own. I would have liked to see the Medallion of Courage. But nonetheless, Bambi plays a lot more Visage than I do. I'm sure he has some kind of justification for it. They're grouping up right now to take down the Tail 1 over the top lane. I like what the Dai is doing. They're recognizing that they can't outfight the Radiant side right now. So Pudge, he's going to the bottom lane. He's just going to get a bit more farm. Got that first point up in Flesh Heap, so he's got 7 stacks already. That's going to make him a hell of a lot harder to kill. Visage Familiars drawing back the creep wave, leashing them around, making sure they can't interrupt the tower. Has to be a bit careful they don't go down, but he uses the bird drops. Bambi showing off his pro micro skills. Over in the jungle, Luna picking up that point in Glaives. 3 farming. Very rare for pro players over in Luna to go for the 4 points over in Luna Blessing. They usually stick with 3 and pick up a point in Glaives. He's gone for that greedy build, the Helmet Dominator. Moonlight Shadow thrown out. Crystal Maiden hanging around. She's invisible. Breaks her invisibility, throws out the Crystal Nova, and backs away. Bambi's actually caught a bit out of position. Never mind, those are just his birds. Birds copy a bit of damage. Arrow flies out. It's going to miss everybody. Another advantage that Visage has against that Mirana is the fact that the Familiars will tank the arrow, as they're mostly magic immune, as well as the fact that they also tank Eclipse shots. They're 98% magic immune. But it looks like Bambi feeds both of his Familiars again. You never want to do this, just because the fact that it's 160-second cooldown between you being able to summon your birds again, as well as the fact you're feeding 100 gold, especially it's over to the Luna. It's not a hero you're going to be feeding gold to. Would have liked to see the Luna go for an early BKB, but it looks like with the Helmet Dominator, as well as the fact that the creep camps have been stacked, she's picked up enough gold. She'll have that very shortly, unless she gets killed off. And once she picks up that BKB, the team fighting power from Team Recursion goes absolutely through the roof, as you cannot fight against a Deathball Luna with the BKB Eclipse up. When Eclipse is up, you run like hell. When Eclipse is down, that's when you say, hey, we could kill this Luna. Unless if you're able to isolate her and bring her down before she can pop her ult off, as the Eclipse ult ends when she goes down. So unlike Juggernaut, who's completely invulnerable during his Omni Slash, Luna still is vulnerable, so that's why the BKB makes her so dangerous, because it makes her completely immune to all magical damage, and she's fast enough and has enough armor. The physical DPS usually isn't an issue. So just going to do a quick item check for the players on both sides. Visage sitting there with the Arcane Boots means he can get off a few more Soul Assumptions. Stampede is... Never mind, that was just the Grave Chill. Misinterpreted that sound. Centaur Warrunner sitting with the Tranquil Boots as well as the Blink Dagger. He's off to a good start. Looking to pick up that Pipe of Insight. Queen of Pain hanging around the Yoga Club. She's building towards that BKB. Queen of Pain ideally wants to build something like the Orchid Malevolence, but BKB in a situation like this, where the majority of damage coming out from Recursion is completely magical, their only physical DPS at the moment is the Luna, especially since the Mirana has chosen to go for the Arcane Boots. She's not going to be transitioning to a DPS role anytime soon, unless she gets a spectacular amount of farm. Over in the Weaver, he's almost got his Lincoln Sphere. In fact, he might have that flying out to him right now. Yep, he's got the Lincoln Sphere flying out towards him. So he's going to be wanting to build towards a Desolator next. Great synergy with the Weaver. He's maxed out his Gem and attack first. Over that Swarm. And Rubik, he's already got his Arcane boots. He's building towards a 4-staff. Great pickup on Rubik, as all you really want to do is hang around, make sure that you're in range to steal spells, and then throw them right back. 4-staff means if you're caught out of position, you can always push yourself to safety. You can also push your allies. Has a bit of synergy there. Over in the Dark Side, Stampede thrown out for 1, as well as the Hoofstop. Double Edge thrown out. Moonlight Shadow goes off with no vision. Looks like they're actually turning around. No, they dropped the Sentry. Soul Assumption flies out. Arrow flies out. Hits the creeps, so it's negated. Lucent Beam as well as BKB with the Eclipse, hitting on the entire Radiant side. Crash is absolutely unkillable right now. He goes on a rampage, kills 2 heroes. He goes full Rambo, goes 1v5, but with BKB and Eclipse, he says, what you gonna do? Centaur Warrunner cops the arrow at the back end, but he should be fine. He blinks his way on home. Over on the Radiant side, we see Pudge still sitting on Phase, as well as the Earner Shadows. And Bottle, he goes in for a hook, as well as Dismember. Where is Pudge right now? Never mind, that was that just a creep? Yeah, that was just a creep. He just wanted to kill a creep. Every time I hit Dismember off, I get a bit paranoid. Someone's about to die. Looks like he most likely will be building towards that Pipe of Insight, as he's gone for that Ring of Health. indicative of the fact he'll be going towards it. Hooded Defiance, great pickup on Pudge as it negates a lot of the damage that he receives himself through Rot. Clockwork choosing to max out Flare and then Cogs over the Battery Assault. I don't 100% agree with this build. Maxing Flare is something you want to do at the very rarely, as it really gimps your solo ganking power. There are very few cases when you want to max out Flare. That's to shut down a lot of split push.
Do it with flair.
But with the extra points up in Cogs, I guess his rationale for that is to rely on the mana and HP burn from those Cogs, as well as the increased lockdown duration coming out from that, as otherwise Battery Assault provides an obscene amount of damage, especially if you catch a single hero out on your own. Luna has that BKB as well as Helmet Dominator. She'll be building towards that Manta Cell, or just picking up that value Yasha before she builds something else. Stampede throwing out. They're out for blood. Familiar's already tanked a decent amount of damage. Mirana turns around, throws out the arrow. Arrow is tanked by the Familiar. Blink in. Hook actually catches out Curry. He's gonna get dismembered. And he goes down. There's no way Radiant can fight against that. That's that power of the Pudge. Not only does he pick a hero off, he isolates them from the rest of his team and has enough power on his own to bring them down. Absolute terror for support here. I mean, you constantly have to be aware of your positioning. They're constantly rotating. Crystal Maiden just has the Tranquil Boots as well as the Bracer. She's on support duty as well as ward duty. Mirana with that Sage's Mask and with that Robe of the Magi, looks like he could be building towards that Orchid of Malevolence. Or towards the Yules, as both items are core in both. Queen of Pain picked up the BKB, so she has a fresh 10-second BKB. Luna only has 9 seconds up now. That gradually will decrease. Arrow flies out, hits Ghoulie right in the face, but with that time lapse, won't be going down. Doesn't even go for that double Star Storm, just throws it out to harass him back. But with that Lincoln Sphere regeneration, he should be fine. Just gonna do a quick golden EXP check over on the Radiant side. 2,500 EXP lead for Bambi Rising. That's coming out from the fact that their hero is getting a lot more solo EXP. The Dire side are tending to clump together a lot more for fear. The pick-off power coming out with that Stampede, as well as the Blink into Scream, the Sonic Wave from the Queen of Pain. 3,000 gold lead coming out from Bambi Rising. I'm going to have to chalk that up to efficiency as well, as they are dominating the CS scoreboards. Bambi the Retarded Unicorn tanks an arrow to the face, but he should be fine. In terms of net worth, the only... Actually, it looks like Luna's holding almost half his team's net worth. About 60% of his team's net worth lies squarely on that Luna. So if you kill that Luna, Recursion fall apart, as they do not have the items to go toe-to-toe up against Bambi, who have their pseudo tricore lineup with Weaver, Queen of Pain, and Centaur Warrunner, all having decent amount of farm. You see Hooded Defiance picked up by the Pudge. Would like to see some smoke gangs coming out from that Pudge, as well as that Clockwork. They have two great heroes to isolate, as well as split up the team fight. Yeah, Pudge, the hooker hero is out of position. Clockwork to hook shot himself in. Sakushi coming out from Weaver, just to do a bit of scouting. Bambi getting some farm over on his end. Would like to see a mech picked up on him. Most likely will be building towards that. Doesn't have the gold for it yet. And Bambi Rising, wisely back on home. Would be interesting to see if Mirana does choose to go for that Orchid of Malevolence or towards that Yule Scepter. Orchid of Malevolence does provide a lot more offensive power. 5-200, caught out with a hook, eats an arrow, eats a dismember, goes down. Where the hooks at? Pudge is coming through. Arab King seems like players who have King in their name seem to be good at. That Pudge we saw with insert team name here, the player known as The King. Played Pudge, was able to wreck Absolute Face up against Team Blink. Pudge was respect banned in game number 2, just out of respect for the fact that he was able to constantly catch Yoshi out of position, immediately start the fight, 4v5. And the spectators just commentating that Pudge has 10k wins, so he must be pretty pro. Interesting to note that this is probably the most even game kill-wise that we've casted so far. Usually one team significantly ahead in kills or in gold. I guess in terms of EXP and gold. Never mind, in EXP it's actually swinging back towards favor of Recursion. And in terms of gold, about 2,500 gold lead in favor of Bambi Rising. But we'll see if he's able to maintain that. McCanton picked up on Centaur Warrunner, choosing not to go for that Hood or towards that Pipe of Insight. Hood and Pipe of Insight are great pickups in the Centaur Warrunner, just because it negates the double-edged damage he takes himself, as it deals magic damage to both him as well as the enemy. So if he has that 55% magic resistance from that Hooded Defiance, from that Pipe of Insight, he's taking a lot less damage himself than he's dealing to them. Means that he could throw out a few more double edges in team fights without worrying about accidentally killing himself or getting himself very low. In fact, fun facts, the only way to deny yourself with double edge is if you're under a damage amplification spell. So something like a Melodic, like the Ancient Seal from Ancient Apparition, although that silences you as well, so that one doesn't really count. I believe Melodic probably would be the only one then in that case. I guess Soul Catcher also counts. Bambi Rising called out with that hook. Goes out once again. However, they're immediately able to turn on that punch. Great hook shot in for Clockwork. Catches out Curry. Isolates him. He steals a clip, so he's not able to do it too much. He's caught out by the cogs. Majority of the bounces going towards the creeps.
By the gods.
Ghoulies completely called out his own. Lincoln Sphere pops and he goes down. Familiars go down as well. Recursion take a fight. 4-1 off the back of that punch hook. Huge plays coming out from them.
Dire's bottom tower is
That's that power of the Lunar Death Ball. When Eclipse is up, when BKB is up, you run like hell. You can't fight this. It's like Death Prophet with her Exorcism, only it does a hell of a lot more damage in the fastest there at a time. Can't push down towers, but it melts through heroes. And off the back of that 4-man wipe, they're able to take the middle lane tower. Visage has respawned. Bambi hasn't been playing all too great in that Visage. I had high hopes for him. But so far, I guess he didn't have that early start he wanted to. They really want to clash. Trivy tried to get those kills. But unfortunately, while Clockwork wasn't able to achieve too much, he did waste their time. Visage, as well as the Rubik, didn't really rotate all too much. The fact that they were caught in a position when they went in for that level 1 gank on Pudge, ran into their entire team, and got brought down. Really got the ball rolling for Recursion. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold on to that kill lead. As Bambi Rising playing scared, they're grouping up now as 4. Ghouli's the only one that can venture on his own. Manta Style picked up by the Luna. She's starting to reach that point of no return. Would like to see some ancient stacking coming up from the Dire side. They've got the Helm and the Dominated Centaur hanging around. Once she picks up, say, a Butterfly as the next big item, she could go in for that siege push with those glaives bouncing up in the high ground. So difficult to deal with the Luna, especially once she gets a lot of farm. She's like that Juggernaut. She relies on the fact that she has an amazingly powerful early game to get that ball rolling, start snowballing, pick up kills, pick up gold, use that farm to start to transition herself into a late game DPS role. And she's a hero that relies on having more items than the other carry in order to beat them. But with the glaives and with the gold she gets from kills, very easy to do so. Centaur Warrunner eats an arrow to the face, but he should be fine. The rest of his team is there. There's no way they can engage into that. Hanging around Roshan, perhaps thinking that the Dire side could be going for it. They do have that Dire side advantage of the fact that Roshan is closer towards their end of the map than it is towards the Radiant. Rocket Flare being spammed out. Interesting to see that Clockwork hasn't really been using his flare to scout out the map all too much. He's been using it to farm, which is an acceptable means, I guess, but the fact that Rocket Flare provides 6 seconds of vision wherever you throw it at, as well as vision along the way until it hits, makes it a great spell to spot out any hero rotations, to get an idea for where they are, as well as to split push and to globally push out the lanes. Pipe of Insight picked up by the Pudge. That negates almost all the damage coming out from that Sonic Wave. I don't know if they have a mech picked up yet. They would like to have a mech as well. Yeah, nobody else in their team's going for that mech. Looks like Mirage going for that Orchid's Malevolence. Great counter pick up to that Quap. She does have a BKB. We can use it to silence out, say, the Visage or the Rubik. Makes them completely useless. They just then become a glorified range creep. Not much that can contribute to those fights. Good awareness from 5 to 100, choosing to build that BKB as a defensive pickup, recognizing that they're actually playing from behind. They need that item so that she could get all the spells off in the fight. As Queen of Pain functions almost like a carrier in the early teamfight engagements. The longer she's alive, the more damage she can output to the entire team, therefore making her one of the primary DPSs until your carry starts to pick up. Crash getting excellent amounts of farm from that ancient stack. He's leading the scoreboards in terms of net worth. But against that Tri-Core lineup, this 4 Protect 1 strategy could fall apart once the other 3 cores on the Radiant side pick up farm. Centaur Warrunner he's not the greatest core. He does scale fairly well with that return as well as the Stampede. But outside of that, he relies on getting the ball rolling in the early and mid game, relying on those Stampede ganks to help out the rest of his team. Would like to see Bambi or Curry holding sentries in dust, so that when that Moonlight Shadow goes down, they can immediately respond. Desolator picked up by Weaver. This is a huge pickup for him. It gives him a lot of solo killing power, and it drastically increases his DPS. Means that in every single team fight, Weaver can disregard every other hero, jump right for the Crystal Maiden, kill her in a few hits, force her away from the fight, immediately head off their backline, run around, start chasing down that Mirana. As one of Mirana's biggest weaknesses is against a strong chasing hero like that Weaver, her survivability is entirely contingent on the fact that she could land arrows and leap away from danger. If Weaver can catch up with you in Sakuchi, your leap isn't so great as an escape mechanism. It does, however, draw time away from Weaver, but he's a hero that likes to focus the backline first. Like that Spectre, it's one of the reasons why they're so dangerous, is that they can constantly disengage and re-engage. This member used on Roshan, So the Radiant side are probably thinking that with all the maps pushing, with no hero spotted, there must be something going on. Swarm throwing out to provide vision, but Roshan goes down and Crash picks up that Aegis. They've reached that point of critical mass now. They need to go for those pushes, really capitalize on the fact that Luna is now unkillable. She has a 7-second BKB, as well as Eclipse up. With that Helmet of Dominate and Manta Style providing her the DPS and extra survivability, and the Aegis, so if you do happen to kill her at the very beginning of a fight, you've blown all your important spells. She comes back, pops a BKB, Stampede flying out, Pudge caught out position, eats the Hoof Stomp as well as the double edge, the Soul Assumption, goes down once again, Moonlight Shadow, immediately drops. Bit too late to save him, but the Dire side are able to retreat off that. In terms of gold, we see that there actually was dipping in favor towards Recursion, just off the back of that Loon. The fact that she could flash farm faster than the Radiant heroes can, with the Glaives bouncing around. 5,000 EXP lead over in favor of Recursion as well. The fact that they're getting more solo EXP now. Bambi rising, playing scared, playing defensively, grouping up and fighting as 5. They need to take towers in order to justify this, or they need to take fights. With that Pudge down, this is the best opportunity that they've had the entire game. Arrow flies up. Heroes immediately back away. Doesn't land on anybody, but does provide a bit of vision. Keeps them on their toes. Curry's hanging around the backhand. He doesn't want to get called out. The idea with Rubik is you hang back in fights, steal spells when you see them dropped. I mean, against a hero like a Clockwork, if you steal any of his spells, even the Rocket Flare, they're still pretty handy. Clockwork almost has his Aghanim Scepter, huge pickup for him as it reduces the cooldown of his hookshot to 12 seconds. It means he could get at least 2 off in every fight, as he has the Blade Mail to say, get the hell away from me, you don't want to do this, or if you do, I'm happy to take the trade. You're taking as much damage as I am. Luna getting a huge amount of farm now. Would like to see the Butterfly picked up on her, as that negates all the physical DPS coming off from the Weaver. Lets her stand toe-to-toe, bring him to his knees, force him to blow that time-lapse, and then kill him again. Also, passes over to her Manta Style Illusion, so they get a huge amount of DPS increase, 60 attack speed, as well as the evasion, the slight increase in damage coming from the agility. It is always nice. Once she picks up that... Bambi doing a bit of chatting. I'm actually going to log out of Steam just so that doesn't happen in the future.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. I feel sad for them.
Don't want to be accused of being biased towards one side or the other. Bambi or Victor actually is a good friend of mine. Keeping in contact. He's usually the one to let me know what's happening. I'd let him know when games are happening. Arab King going to pick up the invisibility rune. So he's got that bottle. Gives him another way to initiate. Ghoulie, they spotted him out. Blink, as well as that, with that Stampede into the Hoof Stomp. Catches him out, but with no vision. Arrow flies out as a defensive error. Is blocked by the Familiars. Dust is popped, so they have vision over an Arab King. But they're turning around. Recursion are grouped up as 4. Bambi is immediately called out with the hookshot. Eclipse goes down. BKB is killing everybody. Curry steals a BKB. Freezing Field, catching out 1. Brings them down. Crashes on a killing spree. Arrow flies out to pick off any stragglers. Visage kills off the Clockwork with his Familiars. Gem has been dropped though. It's being pinged out. Morano's going to pick that up. Age is going to be reclaimed in about 3 minutes, so they want to keep pushing. They want to press their advantage. 2 for 1. Trading the Clockwork for both the Visage as well as the Centaur. Great trade for Recursion. They're more than happy to take this. They wasted the Sonic Scream. However, they did blow every single one of their ults. Even the Dismember just has a 30-second cooldown, so it's of no real significance. Would like to see Weaver building towards that MKB, as Luna most likely will be going towards the Butterfly. She can build towards Satanic, but when you're this far ahead, when you have that BKB to negate all the magical damage, the only thing you have to worry about is physical DPS, and with the evasion coming out from Butterfly, it gives you this a huge amount of EHP against right clickers. They're going to be able to take that Tier 2 tower. Stampede is up, so they can look to turn this around. Interesting to see if Rubik's still anything useful. He has that Dismember. Blink in, Stampede. Shadow Strike over into Crystal Main, and she's actually dismembered up by Rubik. Rubik beating her down with his staff. Pudge sacrifices himself. He actually gets the deny off. Bird Drop just doesn't land in time. He was TPing home with the rod on. Bit unfortunate. Bad luck for the Radiant side, but they're able to defend that Tier 2 as well as get a kill and a deny. They're more than happy with that trade. They're able to hold their own. Force Staff is picked up by the Rubik, so it does give them that mobility to zip on out as well. Zip into fights to land spells such as its member, which have melee range. Arrow flies out, is blocked by the Familiar. Drawsman, having a good game, is very frustrated with the fact that those arrows keep getting blocked, but he's been playing a good round so far. He almost goes Orc of Malevolence, or maybe he has that finished. No, he just needs the recipe now. Looks like they're actually going to take that Tier 2 mid off the exchange of that fight. With that Pudge down, they can't fight 4v5. Or they can with the Aegis, but they really don't want to. They're playing it safe. Luna almost has enough for a Butterfly, about 650 gold off once she picks it up. She's reached critical mass. Your Weaver can't go toe-to-toe with your Luna. In fact, she could probably take down the entire team in the duration of her BKB with that Aegis up. Drums picked up by Rubik. Not a bad pickup. I would have preferred a Blink Dagger on him, but it does give him some extra stats, and the extra movement speed is always nice for the rest of your team. Just going to do a quick golden EXP check. In terms of EXP, Recursion still leading the way at about 6,000 EXP. In terms of gold, only about 1,000. The gold difference is largely negligible now. It's dipping closer in favor of Bambi Rising, especially with the fact they're able to take that Tier 2 tower. We see the Visage Familiars doing a bit of split pushing. That's Bambi's micro coming through right here. It hasn't been as impressive as I'd like it to be, but what can you do? Aegis is about to be reclaimed in 30 seconds. Not too sure if Luna's aware of this, but he will see that disappear from his inventory. And he's got enough gold to finish his butterfly. Just needs one more creep, and there we go. We see he's bought the quarterstaff as well as the Talisman of Evasion, and he's flying over to pick up the Eagle Song from the secret shop. GGG, baby, baby. Commenting on the fact that Weaver does need a BKB. He is going for that MKB, however. He wants to get that. He's the only source of physical DPS they have outside of the Visage Familiars, which aren't sustained. BKB would be nice, it would give him that defensive capability, especially against the fact that he keeps getting hook-shocked in these fights. He can't dive on a Crystal Maiden with the freezing field up on her. And if he gets called out, he's eating a lot of Eclipse damage from Luna, so BKB does mitigate all of that. But at the same time, they do need a way to deal with Luna, especially now that she has a butterfly. And if he did go for that BKB, he wouldn't be able to go toe-to-toe with the Luna. Arrow flies out, providing a bit of vision. Might actually clip somebody, never mind. But they know that Ghoulie is hanging around the Ancients. Pudge is moving in. He's smoked up. Throws out the hook. Was a bit too late. Almost catches the Centaur Wall Runner, but just shy in range. Grave Chill thrown out by Bambi on creeps. Uses it to jet his way back on. Out of there. And the Dire Side are hanging around. They've been very active with those smoke gangs. With that Pudge, they know they have to go for picks. They can't take this into the late game. They can with that Luna, but the tri-core lineup of Bambi Rising will eventually be the 4 Protect 1 Luna if the 3 cores get farmed enough. Interesting to see what that Queen of Pain goes towards. She's picked up the Ultimate Orb, so indicative of a Sheep of Vice, a Scythe of Vice, sorry, or a Sheep Stick, take your pick. She could be going towards that Lincoln Sphere, but really wouldn't like to see her go for a Lincoln. She has that BKB. She has all the survivability she needs from that. Having that locked down for the Luna once her BKB wears off, as keep in mind, Luna's BKB is onto his last legs, only 6 seconds now. When it goes down to the 4 seconds, that's when Bambi Rising starts having an advantage in these fights. Haste Rune popped by Pudge, but he's pinged out. They know he's there. Bambi saw him rotating through. He's running around. Try to get a pick off, but since he's spotted out, he knows they most likely have backed off. However, the fact that they're all backing off gives the Dire Side some space in order to be able to farm, in order to continue pushing forward, as Bambi Rising is constantly playing scared. Curry runs up, throws out the Fable, immediately force-stops himself out. He's afraid. Hook flies out, almost catches Curry. Arrow flies out and hits Ghoulie right in the face, but with time-lapse, he should be fine. If that hook was off cooldown as well, could have perhaps been a kill attempt if Miranda had that Orchid, but she doesn't, so they wouldn't have enough damage or lockdown to keep the Weaver in place before he's able to time-lapse out. Hook flies out, just hits a creep. And the Dire Side backing off. Would like to see a smoke gang coming up from the Radiant side. See if they could try to get a few pickoffs on their own. As a Dire side, they're very confident now. Recursion are playing all over the map. Their Luna's hanging out completely on her own. Farming with maybe Crystal Maiden hanging around the background. With that, Butterfly would like to see her pick up a Satanic, as it gives her everything she needs. Once she picks up Satanic, she actually cannot be killed at that point. As with the Evasion, with the BKB, with the Menstell, and the extra Unholy Rage lifesteal coming up from the Satanic, there's no way going to bring down Luna with about 2.3k HP, 30% evasion, and all of her skills maxed out. She does way too much damage. She could probably solo the entire team at that point, should she get that farm. This is the reason why Luna's often banned out. It's the fact that she transitions so well from phase to phase of the game. In the laning phase, she has that Luna Blessing as well as the Lucent Beam to help out the aggressive tri-lane. In the mid game, you got that Death Ball combination coming out with the BKB Eclipse. And should you make it to the late game with the fact that the enemy team are afraid to go on you, thanks to that BKB Eclipse combination, you're able to buy all the space and time you need to farm away using those glaives to out-farm the other enemy carries. And to get 6 slotted with a lot of 6-tier items like the Butterfly, like the Satanic, and the Mantis Style. And just, you rely on your gold lead to just smash your way on through. Roshan is respawning in about a minute. That could prove to be a critical timing point for the Dire side, as they want to pick up another Roshan kill before they decide to go for a push, just to play it safe, to give them a little bit more gold to help them secure the map. Bambi, they're pushing over in the top lane. We'll see if Bambi Rising rotates to defend this. Miranda has just picked up her Orchid of Malevolence, but a lot more utility to the team. If she catches out any of the heroes besides for Queen of Pain, who has that BKB, and Weaver, who has that Lincoln Sphere, she can silence them and bring them down. Centaur Warrunner can't do anything if he can't cast his spells. Neither can the Visage or the Rubik. Visage has his familiars, but without the Grave Chill and the Soul Assumption, which is the majority of his team fight, really cripples him as a hero, turns him into a glorified range creep and a squishy one at that. Luna now going to farm their Ancients, feeling very cheeky. They know that Bambi Rising are playing scared. They see them grouping together, huddling together for warmth, hanging around as 5. They're going to split push. They're going to continue farming all over the map. You see Clockwork throwing out his hook shot just to get a bit of mobility. He's got that 12-second cooldown reduction with that Aghanim Scepter. Looks like he's building towards a Heaven's Hellbird. You see the makings of a Sage with the Ogre Club as well as the Bounded Giant Strength. Heaven's Hellbird, great pick from the Clockwork. As well, or most strength heroes actually, as the physical evasion is always nice. It gives you more HP than the Vanguard. It gives you a nice amount of damage, and the disarm on the enemy carriers, such as that Weaver, once its Lincoln's popped, or even as another way to pop that Lincoln Sphere if you want to land your Dismember. Great against ranged heroes like that Weaver, as if you disarm him, there isn't anything you can really do. You can still Sakuchi, you can still throw out the Swarm, but that's really about it. Just going to take a quick break, run over and close the door. Alright, it doesn't look like any significant action being missed. Just continuing to farm. Bambi Rising sticking together, farming as 5. Would really like to see them smoke gang, because if you're going to sit there farming as 5, only 1 or 2 heroes are getting farmed from that, while the entire Dire side, they're all getting farm and EXP. That's going to add up as a gold lead is moving heavily in favor of Recursion. 4,000 gold lead now, not as significant as it could be, but nonetheless significant enough to be an item worth a difference. 7,500 EXP lead, arrow flies out, hits a creep, that creep tanked it for Ghoulie. And so the Radiant side immediately back away. They're playing scared. They're all grouping together. They do have that excellent pick-off power, as they can always use the Centaur Stampede to let them run in, get a kill, then run the hell out. Runner spots out the Illusion Rune. She's going to grab that. 4 staff picked up on the Crystal Maiden. Weaver finally has finished his MKB, so he's got a reliable means of physical DPS to bring down that Luna. However, Luna's almost finished her Satanic. She has enough to finish it right now. She might be holding on for buyback just in case. Roshan has spawns. Not too sure if the Dire side are aware of this. Miranda sending out her illusions to scout out, to provide a little bit more vision. And Crash is having a fantastic game. He's hanging around. He's got a huge amount of farm. The Dire side are content to let the game go late, as they're confident in the fact that Miranda has enough farm and has enough items to be able to go toe-to-toe with all 3 cores over on the Radiant side. Once Queen of Pain picks up that Sheepstick, she might change her tune. She's picked it up. So once Luna's BKB becomes 4 seconds, becomes that critical point for Bambi Rising in these team fights, as all they have to do is run away, try to make Luna waste her BKB. Once the BKB is down, then they can turn around, lock her down, provide that damage. Bambi Rising only actually don't have ultimate disables. They've got that hoof stomp from Centaur Warrunner, that's at melee range. So difficult to land on the Luna, as when he's running in, or if he blinks in, she has time to be able to pop her BKB. Assuming Luna's playing safe, has fast enough reflexes, she'll constantly be keeping a finger over that BKB hotkey. We see the smoke gang coming out finally from the Radiant side. There's Sicko sitting there being scared. They want to go out, get some blood. Luna's just picked up her Satanic. They're farming over on Roshan until the Satanic actually arrives. They do have that window of opportunity. Dismember has been wasted. Stampede flies out. Arrow is tanked by the Viscera Familiars. King immediately goes down. A hook shot and Crash goes down. Burst down. Caught up with a blink hex and the Sonic Screen. Freezing Field goes down. Doesn't accomplish anything. Hook shot. Cog trapped in the cogs. He goes down. That becomes a killing field. Miranda goes back in, eats the Soul Assumption to the face. Ghoulie gets a triple kill. Fantastic plays coming up from the Radiant side. They're able to take a 5-0 fight with Bambi limping away at low HP. They're now able to take a free Roshan. This could be the start of a turnaround. And in terms of EXP, we see the 10,000 EXP lead from Recursion. That huge climb back up to the top. In terms of gold, 4,000 gold lead. That's going to further. They need to start pushing. They need to perhaps try to get a tower off the back of this. Their lanes are pushed in, but the top lane still is pushing out. Fantastic plays coming out from the Radiant side, recognizing that the Dire side are going to play defensively until Roshan is back up. BKB picked up by Centaur Warrunner enables him to completely ignore all damage coming out from the Dire side, apart from the glaives from Luna. Also means that when he casts Double Edge, he's actually taking 0 damage now, so it means he can be more liberal with those. The fact that Double Edge is a small AoE spell can prove to be quite handy. As you saw in that Roshan engagement, while they're stuck then, that small AoE, he was able to get a double edge on 2-3 heroes. Queen of Pain was able to blink and catch Luna by surprise with her sheepstick. She wasn't able to react fast enough. The instant she heard that Stampede, she should have popped her BKB preventively, but I guess she didn't know that the sheepstick was picked up on the Queen of Pain. This is why in your games, you always want to click on the enemy heroes. Always see what items they have to be aware for significant items like this. Dude, keep the door closed. Satanic picked up over on Luna. She really needed that in that fight. If she had that Satanic, she wouldn't have been burst down during the 3.5 second Hex duration. Could have meant that she could have popped a Satanic, started lifestealing with the BKB as well as the Eclipse. Could have meant that Bambi Rising would have had to invest a lot more spells and damage to bring her down. But nonetheless, they're able to take a clean 5-0 fight in their favor. There's still a significant EXP lead over in favor of the Dire side, which could prove to be problematic, as the supports are at lower levels than they'd like to be. Rubik just hit, he's level 14 now. It looks like he's going towards an Aghanim Scepter. A very greedy pickup. Would have liked to see the Blink, but if he is able to get it, that does reduce spell steal's cooldown to 5 seconds. Means he can steal 2 or 3 spells per fight if he's able to hang around. Bambi has risen, has actually able to pick up an Aghanim Scepter during that fight. So he now has 3 Visage Familiars. 50% more damage, 50% more stun. He's more than happy to take that. Hookshot flies in and misses, even though he had the Rocket Flare vision. Has to be careful of the fact that the Visage Familiars will tank that hookshot. It means that if he's not careful, you see the Visage Familiars, they just tank that arrow. Bodyguarding their owner. Ghoulie runs and Stampede thrown out. Swarm going to completely miss. Moonlight Shadow hook him from the punch. Catches out Centaur Warrunner. He's the last hero to catch out. He's going to go down to damage from Ghoulie. Ghoulie turns around. Freezing Field. Plus a Sonic Wave, BKB Eclipse, Dismember's throwing around, Pudge is still alive, Ghoulie should have focused him down, he goes down nonetheless, but has that Aegis the Immortal, he's gonna respawn, Queen of Pain blinks on out, huge fight coming up from Team Recursion, Ghoulie's gonna go down, is able to get a kill over on the Pudge, and wow, Queen of Pain's able to kill Mirana over in the backhand, so 2 for 4. They're able to at least trade 2 kills for it, but nonetheless, great plays coming up from Recursion. Pudge backing away, knowing he's been caught out of position, immediately turns around, throws out the hook, pulling a hero in close, gives his team that time to react. Pudge has been used as bait a lot in these engagements. Bambi Rising team are jumping on the Pudge, a bit over enthusiastic, then get caught up by the rest of his team. Pudge is more than happy to face tank spells. He's got that Pipe of Insight, he can tank a lot of damage. The fact that Ghoulie switched targets halfway through should have finished off the Pudge, then transitioned to another hero, as a hero alive means abilities they could use, as well as items, which proved to be the critical factor. He was able to get off his Pipe of Insight, providing that extra buffer of HP for that Sonic Wave. 3 Tattoo Tower for Recursion. With the Glaives able to push down the Creep Wave. Courier runs on forward, throwing back the Creeps, throws out that Fade Bolt to decrease their damage. Queen of Pain tanking hits from the catapults, but the catapults immediately switch. Hookshot flies out, whiffs. And we see Pudge has picked up a Blink Dagger now, so that gives him another form of initiation. Increases his range effectively by about 1,000. They could Blink, then get that hook off, or even instantly Blink and get that Dismember. Point blank range. Can just use Pudge just as a disabler with that Dismember. 3 seconds stun that goes through BKB. Weaver looks like he's building towards Butterfly. Would like to see a BKB up on him, and on this point, as you saw in that last fight, the amount of magical damage coming out, the fact that he's only got 1.7k HP. He needed that MKB before so he could go toe-to-toe up against that Luna, but now that he can, he wants a BKB so he can mitigate the damage coming out from the rest of his team. Flash, remarkably, would have gone hard. Harder Tarrasque is another great pickup on Weaver, as he doesn't necessarily need attack speed, or he just needs to build damage and survivability. Heaven's Halberd, picked up by the Clockwork, makes him a lot harder to bring down. 5-200, goes in, blinks out Crash, crashed it in BKB. It's going to get caught out by the Hoof Stomp. However, it is hooked out. Erupkin goes down immediately. Bambi goes down from the pure power of those Glaives. Crash pops the Satanic, goes man mode, able to bring down 5-200, has an ultra kill, gonna bring down Ghoulie, gets a solo rampage! Just with the support of the Pudge, was able to hook him out of that Hoof Stomp. My god, this Luna has reached critical mass, sitting at 30,000 net worth. He has more net worth than the rest of his team combined. He's now starting to carry everybody out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Fortified. Booyah.
Coolly buys back, eats an arrow to the face, and this looks like game for the boys over in Bambi. The Hunter shot Bambi's mom, he's off to finish the job. And Luna's throwing those Siege Glaives, bouncing around. Bambi Rising really needed to get a few, needed to clash try be tried. They needed to shut that Luna down.
Radiant's middle barracks have fallen.
As the thing with the Visage is if you don't get kills in the early game, you need to get that snowball lead happening, as he isn't the best defensive support hero. You want to get early farm, you want to get early gold and EXP. Drums of Endurance picked up on Crystal Maiden. This is just a value drums. As she has so much gold right now, the fact that the Crystal Maiden, who's been buying wards the entire game, has enough for 4-staff as well as drums speaks for itself. Bit unfortunate that Bambi Rising weren't able to capitalize off the early game aggression that would have come out from the Centaur Warrunner pick, as well as the fact they could have clashed try a lot of greedy item pickups, with the Rubik choosing to go for Aghanim Scepter instead of that Blink Dagger, with the fact that Weaver chose to completely forego a BKB, immediately started building towards a Butterfly. And they're pointing out that Quap is pretty underfarmed. All she has is the BKB and the Sheep. The thing with Queen of Pain is just because she has such strong flash farming capabilities with the Scream of Pain, you do want to get a decent amount of farm. You want to get those early kills to ensure that when the late game comes around, you could transition into more of a DPS role. Spectre is just doing a bit of chatting over in the background, discussing to themselves what they believe the biggest issue is, and they're talking about the fact that Weaver does provide damage, but it can get locked down and controlled by all the magic damage coming out. As the cardinal rule of Dota, you can't do damage if you're dead, you can't do damage if you're stunned. That's why you should get a BKB. 10 seconds of Rambo mode, you saw there. The fact that Luna was able to pop her BKB, stopped them from being able to kill her off. She could then pop a Satanic, turn around. She killed Bambi just from the glaives coming out from her auto attacks, not even focusing him. This Luna is fat as hell. Picked up an MKB, so hitting for 400 with each attack. True Strike, each of her glaives bouncing, hit for 35% less damage. Queen of Pain caught out by the Clockwork, forced to pop a BKB just to escape so she doesn't get burst down during that Battery Assault. Battery Assault interrupts Queen of Pain's cast animation for Blink and actually prevents her from blinking out, provided that she's the only one being hit by the Battery Assault. Arrow flies out, too short range to hit anybody. Visage Familiar is hanging around. We'll see if Bambi Rising try to do anything else. Mirana gets in the way of the Pudge's hook, or maybe he was just being friendly, wants to drag her close. Ghoulie hanging around. He's been doing a lot to help out his team. He's the only source of physical DPS they have, but in this case, Luna's too farm for Ghoulie to be able to kill her on his own now. Even with the lockdown coming out, if she gets a BKB, if she gets 4-staffed or hook-shotted out. Stampede, they're going in on the Pudge as well as the Clockwork. Pipe has already been popped. Dust is popped. Sonic Wave. They're dropping everything. Pudge turns around for that dismember. He goes down. 2 kills for the price of none, but they're forced to blow a lot of ultimates for that fight. None of the other members of the Dire side were around. Miranda was around. She popped that ult and threw out an arrow, and then she said, I'm getting out of here. There's nothing I can do. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Luna is split pushing top, so they're going to have to respond to this. She can rax them before they can even go and get that Tattoo Tower. She is farmed as all hell. She has that Manta Style. She's choosing to back off.
Oh, that's not good for the
Perhaps
Radiant.
playing it safe. She's not too sure where the other members of the Radiant side are. She knows that some of them are bot. We've got some rotations happening. Crystal Maiden goes bot to defend. Luna throwing out those glaives. She's going to take that ancient stack. Backs off. The Bambi Familiars hanging around over in the top lane. Just going to do a bit of split push. Start nibbling away at that tower. Butterfly picked up by Weaver. Not a terrible pickup by him. But the issue isn't the fact that Luna's being able to right click him down. The issue is the fact that he's not able to survive through all the magic damage and the lockdown. And interesting to note that the Dire side, they're playing it safe. I believe the Radiant side probably backed away, fearing the split push coming up from the Luna, as she could have kept going and taken the top tower if they continued to push. Forcing out the rotation from them. And you see those Vision Familiars, those bird drops, doing a bit of damage to the creeps, pushing down the creep wave. Dire side are playing it very safe. They know they have to lead. They know that Luna is too farmed to fail at this point. So they just want to secure that Roshan so she has that Aegis the Immortal just in case. Flash commenting that Luna is rich. She should go for Boots of Travel. Queen of Pain has picked up MKB. Great DPS pickup on her. Means that she could function as that secondary force of physical DPS up against that Luna with that Butterfly. So between the Luna as well as the Queen of Pain, they can at least attempt to bring down that Luna. But Luna's completely maxed out now. She actually doesn't have any item spots to even pick up the Aegis the Immortal. She doesn't have a Boots of Travel though, so and not carrying a TP scroll. That means she actually could go down to split push coming out from Bambi Rising, but I don't think they're aware of this. They're too afraid of the Luna. With a double damage run hitting for 600 per attack, she could have soloed the entire game, the entire Radiant side. At this point, Pudge picks up the Aegis of the Immortal, as he's the one who's been playing bait for the rest of his team. Moonlight Shadow dropped perhaps a bit preemptively, just doing a bit of scouting. Mirana just uses it to get in position, drop a ward, back off. Lag spikes coming out from my end, I do apologize. They're grouping up now, they're looking to end this. Radiant side are preparing to defend. We'll see if they're able to hold. The Bambi Visage Familiars are flying back in, provide a little bit more support. Arab King hanging around the side, he wants to get a hook off, perhaps try to isolate the fight. Clockwork can always zip in if an opportunity presents himself. We see him blink in, he gets a hook over into Visage Familiar. Arrow flies out, is tanked by the creep wave. One auto attack from Crash, almost one-shots the Visage Familiar. Those glaives can easily kill off the Familiars as well. That's another thing that you have to keep in mind. They're able to hold the push, blink into hook. They're waiting until Pudge can land something, as otherwise the Radiant side, through all their spells they could throw out, can kill the creep wave before it gets too close and does too much damage to the tower. Would like to see some Mantis Sieging coming out from the Luna. Recursion playing very careful. They don't want to make any of these mistakes. Their slow is a bit too slow. Their push is a bit too slow, sorry. Blink, followed by the hook, almost hits over on the Quap. Luna has so much gold at this point that she could buy Boots of Travel. If she could sell her BKB or drop it, she would like to do that to pick up a fresh one, but unfortunately no longer can do that. You have to actually have a second item slot to carry the second BKB. But with these items, she's too big to bring down at this point. Bambi has been definitely on point with those Familiars, constantly able to block hooks and arrows, has really crippled the initiation power coming out. We even saw him interrupting the hook shot. As if Clockwork hooks into the Familiars, he's caught at a position in a very bad area in the middle ground. Arab King constantly throwing out those hooks, keeping the Radiant side on their toes. While the creep wave pushes forward, would like to see the pipe pop to give the creeps the further momentum to get up to the wave without being nuked down. Would like to see some Mantis Sieging coming out from the Dire side, but they're backing off. They're not really accomplishing all too much. They're waiting until Bambi make a mistake, but Bambi are playing very careful. Quap blinks in, catches out the Mirana, dealing a lot of damage, full stuff as well as the hook shot. But BKB Eclipse from the Luna, she turns around, she starts dealing DPS to everybody. She's actually going down, she's taking a lot of damage, pops the Satanic. Those glaives are raking face. Arab Kings will also have Freezing Field to lock people in place. Crystal Maiden secures a kill, and that's a 4 for nothing. Crash is too far to fail at this point. Curry almost gets hit by the arrow, backs away. They initiated, they went in, but Luna was hanging around the background to turn it around.
Tower is under attack.
Looks like game 1 going in favor of Recursion. Buyback from Centaur Warrunner, trying to hold. They need buybacks from the rest of the team. Arab King immediately blinking in. He wants blood. Trying to draw fire from the Tier 4s. Tier 3 goes down and Crash. That looks like game for them. They could take all 3 racks or even just go for the throat. Siege Glaives flying around. Hooking over on Curry, but he's caught out by the Hoof Stomp as well as the Stampede. Curry looks like he's going to go down. He stole Eclipse, but wasn't able to accomplish all too much with that. He died before he could do enough damage. The Satanic pickup on the Luna made her far too tanky to bring down. She's sitting at 17 for 4 for 6. Crash having a fantastic game. Arrow flies out, hits Bambi in the face. Cogs to block them out. And game 1 goes in favor of Team Recursion. 60 minutes and 39 seconds into the game. Just gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back for game number 2. Stay tuned.